Today, we're going to learn how to mine BitTube, or tube coins, on the latest version of XMR STAK 2.4.7. So in this example, we're going to use a computer that has two NVIDIA cards. Now this process will work with setting up AMD. Now with AMD cards, there's going to be some additional steps. I do have other videos. If you want to look through the channel, I do have other videos on how to set up XMR STAK with AMD cards. Again, this tutorial will work with NVIDIA and AMD. Just remember that AMD has some additional steps that you'll need to take to get the rig running right. Alright, so for this particular case, we're using a GeForce GTX 1070. This is a ROG Strix OC Overclock Edition with driver version 397.31, as well as a 750 Ti, just because I had it laying around and I needed the extra hash power. Alright, so as with all of my videos, I will leave the links in the description below. So when you get done watching the video, simply click on the description below the video and you'll be able to see all of the places that we go to in this video to download the proper software. The other thing that you're going to need is a BitTube wallet address. Now, I just did a video, as of the making of this video, 2 days ago, on how to download and install a BitTube GUI wallet. If you're not familiar with the process, or you do not already have a BitTube wallet address, go ahead and watch that video. It's pretty quick. It's not a long video, but it does show you step by step how to get and install and get a wallet address. Alright, so 1 day ago, as of the release of this video on 7/18/2018, XMR STAK released another sub-release, 2.4.7, which had a bug fix for the BitTube algorithm. So, something to take note. If you are starting fresh, then don't worry about this one section. But if you are an XMR STAK user and you've done this before, please take note that if your configuration files are older than version 2.4.3, in other words, if they are 2.4.3 back, they will not work. 2.43 forward will work. So in other words, I believe it's 2.4.2. Let's go back and look at our change logs here. Yep, so 2.4.2 and lower will not work. You will have to recompile because the configuration files have changed. Okay, if you have used this 2.4.3 and up, then you're perfectly fine and you can reuse the configuration files. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do, folks, is download the XMR STAK Win64. So double left click that. It's going to download. It's going to take just a second. And after we have downloaded it, we're going to bring up our downloads folder and see our XMR STAK here. So we're going to double left click on XMR STAK. It's going to open up XMR STAK Win64. We're going to double click it, and we're going to now double click this, the XMR STAK file. This is an executable file or an application. So double left click, and it's going to ask me to extract all, run, or cancel. So what we're going to do here is click extract all. And I want to, just for the sake of this video, you can put this wherever you like, but I'm going to put this on my actual desktop. So I'm going to select this folder and click Extract. As you can see, it just came up here. So we're going to go ahead and close this down and open this one up. All right. So as you can see, our same files, but now they're extracted and unpacked from the zip folder. So we're going to double left click the XMR stack. And we're going to get a Windows Defender pop-up. Now, there's a couple different things you can do. You can go to Windows Defender. Virus and Threat Protection. It's going to open up another window here. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. I'm going to go to Virus and Threat Protection Settings. Again, this is only if you're on Windows 10, okay? If you're on Windows 7 or something else, this is not going to be an issue for you. And here you go, Add Exclusions. And what I'm going to do is add the exclusion, and I can actually add the entire folder or the type of file, the file type if I wanted to, or the process itself. That's getting a little bit overcomplicated for this particular video. You can actually do the file, but I'm going to do the folder, and then I'm going to select the XMR stack, select folder. So you can see, after I close this out, that I now have XMR stack Win64 in the excluded files. So I should not get another warning next time I start this up. Or the other thing that you can do is just click More Info and Run Anyway. Now I'm going to close this out. I'm going to minimize this. First, my user account control settings. Depending upon the way you have your user account control settings set on your computer, you may or may not get this. If you do, just simply click Yes. And now you see a command prompt window open up. So we're going to go ahead and minimize that. We're going to bring this to the center of the screen so we can see it. Now it says, do you want to use HTTP interface? Unlike the screen display, browser interface is not affected by GPU lag. If you don't want to use it, please enter 0, otherwise enter port number that the miner should listen on. We are not going to do that for the sake of this video, but basically what this feature is, if you'd like to open up a browser window and go to 127.0.0.1, and then whatever port you put in here, if you pick port 5 or port 490 or whatever port you put, that's the port you put in the web browser after your local loopback address, and you will be able to see the XMR stack running and the cards and what's all the stats. We're not interested in doing that this time, so I'm just going to push 0. Enter, and now it's going to ask me what currency I want to mine. So what we want to mine is Kryptonite BitTube 2. That is the new algorithm, not BitTube, but Kryptonite BitTube 2. So I'm going to copy that. I'm just basically clicking on the end of it and then dragging it over. And then I press Enter, and then I can right click, and then it pastes it into the spot. I press Enter. Now it's going to ask for a pool address. So for that, we're going to open up miningpoolstats.stream, and then I am looking at BitTube. So this is a list of mining pools available. Now, don't take this as the most comprehensive list. There may be others out there, but from what I've seen, Mining Pool Stats has a API collector that pretty much goes out and finds all those pools and collects the data and aggregates the data for you. So again, maybe not completely comprehensive, but this is probably most of the pools that are out there that you can mine to. Right, so what I want to do is pick a pool. And it looks like kryptonite.cc has 56.1% of the pool's hash rate, of the network's hash rate. So what I want to do to help decentralize things and make sure that no one pool has all the hash power on it, I'm going to pick another pool. It may not hit blocks as quickly as the big pool, but I'm doing my part to help decentralize and help distribute the hash power. All right, so I'm going to use the BitTube pool. I can simply double left click on that, and it comes to the BitTube pool website. All right, so most of these pools work pretty much the same way. What we want to do here is go to Getting Started. Most of your pools have a page that says Getting Started or Connecting or something of that nature. So we're going to click Getting Started, and the mining pool address is going to be mining.bit.tube. Okay, I'm in the United States, not in Asia, so this is the mining pool address I want to pick. Copy. Now, for ports, if you're new to mining, this may be a bit of a daunting task to figure out which port you need in order to successfully connect to the network at a proper starting difficulty point. Now, I'm going to make this really simple for you. As you can see, port 11111 has a very low starting difficulty. This is for low-end hardware, okay? Again, this is for low-end hardware. You see mid-range hardware and high-end hardware, and then what it defines as rigs. Rigs would be something like 6, 7, 8 card rig, something with a lot of hash power coming from one miner, okay? So for my example, I'm going to put in port 17777, and that's, again, just for 2 NVIDIA cards. If the starting difficulty is too high, I see, and I'm not able to find a block, which I'll explain in just a moment, I can stop the miner and go and reconfigure the port if I need to. All right. So I've copied the address. I know that I want to start with port 17777. So I'm going to minimize that. I'm simply going to right click in the field and then colon 17777. Enter. And then now it's asking for the wallet address. And as I said at the beginning of the video, if you have not set up a wallet, now is the time to do so, because you're going to need to put your wallet address in. This is my wallet address for the YouTube video. So I'm going to right click and copy, click here and right click, and there it is. Press enter. Password, mostly empty, depending upon the pool that you use. This may be necessary. It may be necessary, or it may not be necessary. For this pool, I'm going to go ahead and click through. If you find later that you need a password, or you get an error message when the miner first starts, then you know you probably need to go back into the configuration and add a password. For now, we're going to go ahead and skip it, and if we have an issue, we can go back and we can look at the configuration and right the wrong. All right, rig identifier for pool side stats. Needs pool support, can be empty. Right now, we're going to click through that. Does this pool support TLS SSL? Use no if unknown. So I am not sure about this pool because I've never mined to it before. So I'm going to hit N, enter. Do I want to use NiceHash on this pool? No, I do not. No. Do you want to use multiple pools? This is an option. If you have one pool that fails, you can actually switch pools. I don't want to do that for this example, so no. Enter. And as you can see, it just took off. I'm going to go ahead and stop it. So after I've stopped it, I'm going to go ahead and close this out, or at least minimize it. I'm going to go into the XMR STAK folder. And as you can see now, first we had 5 files. Now we have a couple different files. Configuration, CPU, NVIDIA, and pools. Those are the new text document files that we have. So the first thing that I want to go into is CPU. Now this is where you can use the CPU to mine with. For my particular example, and only because I'm trying to record the YouTube video, and if I use the CPU to mine with, I won't have the resources to be able to record the video because I'm using the same machine that I'm recording the video on to mine with. So what I want to do is delete the CPU configuration. If you have a 4-core processor, I suggest that you do not use all 4 cores. You'd use a 3 or 2 of the cores. I generally use 3 on my 4-core processor rigs, and the reason being is because you still need a core to be able to run the other functions of the rig, especially if you want to log into it. You'll see a lot of lag and have a bunch of issues, so it's generally easier to have one free core. So if I wanted to use 3 cores on this 4-core processor computer, I could simply add a line. Basically, I would copy and paste it on the line below, and then I would have 0, 1, and then I would renumber that one from 1 to 2. So there would be 3 cores. Again, since I do not want to CPU mine with this, I simply delete the CPU configuration, and I go up here and I click save, and next time I start the miner, it will not use the CPUs to mine with, or the CPU cores to mine with. Close this out. All right, so the next file that I'm going to go into is NVIDIA. And if you're using AMD cards, you will see, you will not see NVIDIA unless you have a mix of both cards, but you will only see AMD. So if you see AMD and you're mining with AMD, then you would click on that folder. But since we've got NVIDIA cards in here, we're going to double left click on NVIDIA. I'm going to maximize that. And here's a configuration for my 2 cards. As you can see, GTX 1070 and GTX 750 Ti. Now, there are some in-depth tutorials on how to set these numbers if the default configuration does not work for you. All right? From my experience, I use MSI Afterburner, and MSI Afterburner allows me to overclock the cards. So there's not much of a reason, unless you have issues with the miner running, to mess with these settings. If you feel the need to do so, there are plenty of articles, tech articles, lots of videos online where people talk about how to set this. We're not going to do that in this particular video because I do not think we'll have an issue with the stock settings. Again, if I wanted to overclock the cards, this is not the place to do it. This is the place to do it. And that is a whole nother video, which we won't get into. But I do have other videos that show overclocking. Again, just go through my channel and find the videos on GPU setup, on Cast XMR, on XMR STAK. I have several videos, tutorial videos just like this, that go over that kind of stuff. All right? All right, so we're going to minimize this. We're going to go ahead and close this. And we're going to bring this over here, and we're going to click XMR STAK to start the miner. Going to tell it yes. And as you can see, I'm mining to mining.bit.tube port 17777. Connected, logging in, and it looks like a successful connection because it says difficulty changed to that starting difficulty rate for that port. It says starting NVIDIA GPU thread 0 and GPU thread 1. Again, this is specific to NVIDIA cards. AMD cards will have 2 threads. If you're doing Vega series cards, 56 or 64, you actually have 2 threads per GPU. On this particular instance, we just have 1 thread per GPU. So it says no AMD OpenCL platform found, basically because I have no AMD cards. Alright, so as you can see, I have a new block detected. It sees the work, it's connected, and I'm now working on submitting a share. I can hit C for connection, and as you can see, the mining pool and port, the time that I connected, the pool ping time, which it's not showing right now, network errors, none. I can hit R for results. As you can see, I have not found and have not submitted any valid results yet. If I wanted to see the hash rate, I can hit H, and H shows the hash rate for both cards. As you can see, card 1 is 614 in the last 10 seconds, hashes per second. And card number 2, which is thread ID 1, is 115. As you can see, it is increasing the difficulty. Or, I'm sorry, it's lowering the difficulty. So what that tells me is I am probably at too high of a starting difficulty. So I'm glad that actually happened during the video so we can go and fix it. So I'm going to close the miner out. And I'm going to go to Pools. I'm going to maximize that. And I'm going to go back to my BitTube pool. And we're going to change this to a lower starting difficulty. Copy. Really glad that happened. Sometimes I could edit that out and make it look like it worked perfectly the first time, but I like being able to show issues that I have because generally other people run into them as well. So I'm going to hit save. I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to restart the miner. All right. As you see, the difficulty is lower now. Alright, so as you can see here, we've got some results accepted by the pool. So, obviously you don't want to do this, but I'm going to close this just because I'm trying to record the video and it's eating up my resources. I'm going to grab my wallet address, hit copy. I'm going to open up my browser again. And I want to go back to the home page of this particular site. And if I want to track myself or track my stats, I can enter my wallet address and press lookup. Now, as you can see, last share submitted about a minute ago. So I do have valid submitted shares. It shows an approximation of my hash rate and total hashes submitted. So that means I'm online, I'm mining. Now remember, you have to mine for a little while, and the pool actually has to find a block before you get paid. Not only do you have to mine while a block is found, but then you have to wait for a certain number of confirmations. So as you can see here on this particular pool, They found all of these blocks, but these have not matured yet. They still have 4 blocks, 5 blocks, 8 blocks to go before they mature and confirm before you will get a payment. Furthermore, most pools, even when they mature, you may not get the payment immediately. You can go to this page, which is the payments page, and see all of the payouts over whatever given period of time you're looking at. All right. So remember, just a quick overview of how the pool works, but that's basically it, guys. XMR STAK 2.4.7, mining BitTube, making some tube coins. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking it. That helps me out a lot, more than you could know. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, please go ahead and do that now, so you can see more content, more information as I put it out. Thanks again, everybody, and I'll talk to you next time.